Hello,
Hi, Dan.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Enjoying the cool weather.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yes, my favorite. I don't like hot weather.
Yeah, but sometimes it's quite hot sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, last week was hot. Yeah.
Hi, Sima.
Hi, Anne. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Hi, everybody.
Just I think we should start at 4:30.
Okay, sounds good.
Hi, Richard.
Hello.
How are you?
All right. How are you doing, Gina?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Hello.
Asia.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. I think we can start now. Let me share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Capstone Project and Internship Orientation of STC, City University of Seattle. I'm Kina, and now I will talk about. Okay, sorry. Now I will talk about our schedule today. The first, I will greeting and talk about schedule, and then meet Mr. Michael will talk about Capstone. The next will be Miss Sima talk about internship for international students. Then Mr. Richard will discuss about internship for documented students. The next will be Jonathan, who is student worker and also MSCS student in CityU, will talk about his internship experience. And the last will be Dr. Sam Chung will say about the showcase of Capstone success. And the last we can have the Q&A session to ask on speaker like whatever you want to know. about internship and capstone. And the first will be welcome Mr. Michael to talk about the capstone. Excuse me, like you unmute right now.
Okay. Michael Lehman here. I'm the program director for the undergraduate program here in School of Technology and Computing. And let me share my screen, and I'll take you through a brief slide deck here talking about the capstone. I'm assuming everyone can see the slides. The capstone is run through the normal 10-week period, okay? And I'll just go through and describe it a little bit. And that the best thing for a student to do when they're actually getting ready to take part in their capstone event is, first of all, it is the first assumption is it's the last quarter of that they're in the school, and ideally, and I know it's not always the case, but ideally it's taken by itself, okay? And so when we do that, the one thing that really helps a student when they're going into the capstone is they're thinking about their project before they actually start class, okay? So selecting a good topic, doing a little bit effort on some of the background beforehand, and so that you're able to kind of come to class and you're ready to get to work on the very first week, okay? So selecting a good topic is kind of key to the success of the capstone project. And many questions are always asked by the students, well, what do you mean by that? Well, there's some things we can do beforehand to take a look at what makes a good project. And there's a couple of areas that we kind of focus on when doing that. And that if we do some research on some articles and we kind of find a gap that exists between previous research articles that might be out there, that's always a good place to start. Another area that I know a lot of the students I have in class are looking at a solution to a problem that already may be existing, and they can enhance on that particular problem that was done before. So the question always comes from the students, well, professor, where do I find this stuff at? And there's several places that is actually available for the student to start taking some look as far as what's research papers and things that have been done in the past. And what I have on the screen here are some examples that we can run through in class. And we have some videos that are also within the shell that also explains how to go about and utilize some of these places. Now, one of the most commonly places that students tend to go to is called Google Search. It's not on this particular slide. And one of the reasons is because it's relatively easy for the students to use, and probably the most important part is that it's free to use. Now, the university has several areas that they also pay for the students to actually go out and do some of those research efforts through the library itself. I do know that the IEEE is a very good space for any kind of search to look at some of the documents that we're looking for. The problem is there's a membership fee, first of all, for the student, relatively cheap. It's $19 for the year. However, when you go to the search library, now it's $49 a month. Now, if you've got some deep pockets as a student, you can afford $50 for a month's worth of effort. Okay, maybe it might be worth your time to do that. I do know they have a vast variety and a very large range of documents that's there. So that's kind of things we kind of run into with the classes that for the capstone project. Okay, so when you're looking at a project, okay, one of the things that helps out is you're looking at a topic of interest to you as a student. Okay, or it may be something that you're planning for a future plan for after you graduate. And there's also areas that might be suggested to you by some of the other folks that may be around you, or you can always turn to your instructor, and sometimes they have some ideas of what might be of interest to you, and to continue on with that. And so there's within the 10 weeks period of actually starting and completing this effort, you always have to be careful that what I call the scope of your project is in line to the 10-week effort that you're going to put in. A lot of times students come into the class, they have a great idea, okay, but the problem is they can't really accomplish it within 10 weeks to do. And so I know in my particular classes, when I run the capstone, we kind of sit down and talk about, okay, what is it you can possibly get done within the 10 weeks that we actually have? And sometimes we can get a portion of what could be the larger picture that they come in with, and they can focus on a much smaller piece to complete the 10-week period. And then the other part is when it's too narrow and you're looking at something that's, I'll say, very easy to accomplish and something that's not going to take you nearly enough time. It takes very little time to accomplish. Then we have to sit there and talk about how do we make the project a little bit more complex? How do we add a little bit of scope to the project? And through that effort, then eventually we get to the point where the student has come with their efforts they want to move forward with. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, one of the things we have to start off with the very first week is the problem statement that we're trying to adhere to with the project that they're taking on. And it's usually one of the hardest things for the students to understand. Professor, what do you mean by the problem statement? And a lot of times what I see is they want to talk about the problem at hand, but they don't get to the point where saying, this is what I want to look at. This is what I want to at least try to come up with an area of solution, okay? And that I can show something at the end. Now, I always tell the students that the very last couple of sentences in this problem statement is actually outlining to your reader, telling you what the intention is that you plan to do through the course of your research effort. So you're kind of giving a little picture in the window of what the reader can actually anticipate as they're reading your paper that you're going through. Now, we always have engagements within the class itself. We don't get away from the muddiest points, and that's always in line that if a student's having a question or a problem or a concern that within the or having in the course, gives them the point to give them an effort to say, hey, I'm having a problem understanding this particular concept, and we jump in and help them. The other thing we offer is the office hours to discuss projects and the areas that they're having concerns or difficulties in. And you can always reach out to the instructors. Now, I know that when I do the capstones themselves, one of the hardest ones are the ones that are taking asynchronous courses. I hate to keep the student in the dark. And so when I see some things that are going on that I need to step in, I'll go ahead and reach out to that student and say, hey, do you have time? Can you jump on Teams? Can we talk about what's going on? And with that, then we open up the discussion that they greatly appreciate at that point, because many times they're kind of overwhelmed with the concept that we're doing. Now, the reason I say that is because this is probably the first time they've actually had a course where they're actually doing the project themselves. Then we can work them through the efforts and get them in a situation that they're able to understand what's going to be the requirements for fulfilling the research effort and help them on their way through the process. Okay, so there's a couple of things that the student is aware of from the very beginning of the course, that there's a couple of deliverables at the end of it. We have, first and foremost, the capstone final report, okay, and then there's a PowerPoint presentation that's also done, and I'll speak about that not only in the next section here, but also some recommendations for how you can see what's going on this particular quarter, and maybe you want to take part and take a look at it. And then if you're developing any kind of code within the project that you're doing, they're asking that you submit that into a link in GitHub on that. Okay, so the actual presentation itself is around 15 minutes long, and then there's a demonstration that the student is asked to perform, and usually that's something that's a video of some sort. And so what becomes a big surprise to most of the students is professor, you mean I have to talk to these people? He says, yes, you have to talk to these people. And one of the things that I know that I do in my class is that I prepare those students to, first of all, understand how to use MS Teams as far as displaying their slides themselves, because you don't want to get in front of a bunch of folks and kind of fumble around with your slides. And second of all, it's usually the first time they've actually done live presentations. Okay, so we get them kind of warmed up and get them ready to do that. And then you can always anticipate after your presentation, there'll be a couple of people that'll have interesting questions, and we spend about 5 more minutes to do that. Now, one of the things I strongly recommend to students who are getting ready to step into the capstone, whether it's going to be the fall or the winter, take time out, go to the symposium that we hold at the end of every quarter. It's always the last Thursday, week 10. Okay, it's online, and you can take and watch what's going on with the current students and how they're executing their capstone effort. Okay, so the things that to walk away from here is, first of all, be prepared before you start, meaning that have a good idea of what your project you want to have your project to be. May not have the complete picture. Okay, that's okay. We can work with that. But at least be prepared to say, I want to go in this direction, and I kind of have an interest to look at this. Okay. Second of all, make time at least the quarter before, maybe 2 quarters before, and come to the symposium. Again, it's the last Thursday of the 10th week. Time is from 4:30 to 6:30. It's online. Announcements are always put forward. Just take some time and see what is in your future, see what has to be completed before you get to that point. Avoid falling behind in your project. It's always easy to be overwhelmed as we're doing the research effort. Okay, so you want to make sure, that's why I say at the very beginning, it's ideal that you're doing this course by itself and you're not taking other courses at that time. Understand that sometimes the way that the course load is for some of the students, that they can't help it. That's still okay. Just be prepared. There's extra effort that's going to have to be put in behind that. Good tools for management. Now, the school here, we do a lot of efforts within Agile, but a lot of times your project may fall into waterfall as far as the 2 different varieties of project management tools that are concerned. And when you get out into industry, in fact, my experience is we usually in the industry use the combination of both. So if you have a background in Agile, that's great, wonderful. If you want to use it, that's great. And if you want to use some parts of waterfall into your project, I don't mind that either. Okay. The last thing is to stick to a plan. Okay, in that you want to create. You need to know where you're at this week, and you need to know where you're going next week as far as the efforts within your research effort. So you've got to develop a plan to take that and carry it forward. And so sometimes the students are a little weak on trying to put things together, but through the weekly, what we call a scrum, there's a portion that's called a scrum within the shell itself. And what it is there are 3 questions we're asking. Okay, what'd you do this week? What do you plan to do next week? And what are your issues? What are your problems you need to overcome? Okay, so when I say create a list to do, that's what we're looking for from week to week to week. Okay, that way I can take a look at that and say, okay, that sounds reasonable. I think you can accomplish that. Or I may say, well, it seems to be a little ambitious. Maybe we want to scope that down a little bit. Or I could go the other direction and say, sorry, I think you need to step it up here a little bit and let's move a little bit forward. One of the other things we have to be concerned about when we're doing this research effort is plagiarism. Now, one of the latest things we're encountering and seeing at the school right now is a lot of use of AI, excuse me, and that's fine, but we need to start citing that work. Okay, if it's your original work, that's one thing. But if you're gathering the information somewhere else, whether that's a paper, a book, or off the internet, or wherever it may be, we have to give credit to the person who developed the work originally. So just be careful. We have, 3 levels of violation here at the university, and you definitely don't want to get to the 3rd violation, because then you've kind of blown out the whole capstone. Okay, so the takeaway that I have today is 10 steps. Okay, if you want to focus on any of the slides, it's probably the most important slide to look at. Okay, find your topic early. Search the existing problem. You can do that before you actually start the capstone. There's nothing that says you have to wait until the first day of class. You can, start it early. There's no problem with starting it early. Choose a topic that's meaningful for you. Okay, have some interest in it. It always goes a lot better for the student if it's something they're excited about. They want to learn some more. It's always better that we take on a topic like that. Ensure that we have a clear and concise effort in going forward as far as our paper and our presentation at the end. Always ask questions and engage with the conversations within the course itself. Always keep in mind the deliverables at the end, and our focus that, come week 10, not only do you have the paper to deliver, but we also have a presentation to execute to. And then good efforts need to be put into the actual efforts that you're working towards, meaning that making sure you put in enough of the time that you have available, and you have a clear focus on where you're going to. Using your time weekly, this is usually the hardest part for most students to understand, that we only have really 8 weeks to get this ready. Even though it's a 10-week course, the last 2 weeks are used in preparation of the actual paper and the actual presentation itself. So it's easy to get behind on points that become a little difficult to fulfill, and that you've got to be very conscious that time is not on your side. It keeps ticking regardless of what the student is doing. Don't forget to submit your assignments on time. We have the same deadlines in the capstone that we have in any other course. And, you can lose points by, not submitting things on time. And finally, number 10, make sure that we're using the proper APA, and we're citing our work, and we're giving credit to those that have provided you the information that you're using. Okay, so that's it for me for Capstone 101. Is there any questions I can answer?
We will have the Q&A session later.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you so much, Michael.
Sure, let me stop sharing then.
Yeah.
And we can move on.
Thanks, Michael. Next,
You're
Ms. Sima will discuss about internship for international students.
Hi, everyone. Hope your day is going well. We're going to go over the slide. Let me share the CPT or internship information with you. Okay. Everyone see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Curricular practical training, which is CPT for F1 students. Students who are on F1 visa. Curricular practical training, or CPT, description. The internship is an integral part of the established curriculum. So your program plan should show that you are eligible to have this internship. Temporary employment authorization for F1 students gain practical experience under academic supervision. The CPT is part-time, less than 20 hours per week, except for approved vacation quarters. The internship could be paid or unpaid. It requires enrollment in an internship course at regular tuition. Needs to apply toward the student's degree. Internship course cannot be extra credit that cannot be required for the degree. The CPT employment dates should be aligned with the internship class start and end date. So particular quarters should be start of the quarter and end of the quarter. Who's eligible for CPT and what are the eligibilities? Minimum of 1 academic year, at least 3/4 of consecutive full-time enrollment in the program is required. For graduate students, GPA of 3.0, and for undergraduate, 2.0 GPA is required. Full-time enrollment while on CPT, except for approved vacation quarters. Students must have secured an internship and obtain an employment letter before they apply for CPT. Academic authorization, school and program is required before start of CPT. What are the steps on the CPT applications? So a student meets with assigned academic advisor to discuss the program plan and eligibility. Students complete section 1 of CPT form and submit the form to their academic advisor no later than 1 month before the start of internship. So if this is internship for fall quarter, the latest date of submission is by September 1st. Academic advisor completes section 2 and returns the signed form to the student. The students submit the employment letter along with the form to the designated academic representative for approval. Once it's approved, designated academic representative verifies and the position meets the internship standards, sign the CPT form, and forward it together with the employment letter to the student's academic advisor. Then academic advisor coordinates CPT endorsement and class registration. Academic advisor provides student with registration confirmation and CPT endorsed I-20 with the approved employment start date. And here's just the blocks for the process. The student complete the form, send it to academic advisor, and then academic advisor signs it and give it back to student. Students send the form with the employment letter to academic program representative, and from then, once it's approved, the form and the letter comes back to the international student advisor, and from there we register and endorse I-20 for the student and return them to a student. And that is the process for our F1 students. Hope this is helpful.
Thank you, Sima. And
you.
following that, Mr. Richards, our academic advisor, will talk about internship for domestic students.
All right, I guess. There we go. Everybody see my screen? My
Yes.
spiel here is not that different than Seema's. It's great to see, especially many of my students, a couple doctoral students. Awesome. Glad you guys can be here. For the STC internship procedure for domestic students, I'm just going to cover like the general course description about the internship eligibility, ineligibility, and then the application step and process. As far as the course descriptions, I mean, at the end of the day, the internship is about gaining experience. And this is important at the graduate level, especially for a number of our students in this population are career changers. The idea of the internship really comes down to you as an individual being able to gain that experience so that you can make that transition post-graduation. Undergraduates is, I mean, it's the same thing, except you're not career changers. It's that this is your career. It is that you're trying to get into that market. And that's what both of the whether it's the undergraduate or the graduate internships is all about. The internship itself is it's in some of the program plans, like you've been given a program plan when you first enrolled is that you'll find most of the information in the catalog when you actually look at the program descriptions. So if you have questions related to that, there are different comments. The idea of the internship is temporary employment for students, and again, to gain practical experience. The importance is temporary employment, and I say temporary employment because you want to set a term ideally for this, is that many students dream of the opportunity of being able to have an internship that transitions into full-time employment. I had that opportunity when I went through my bachelor's degree, is that at the end of the day is that you want to have sometimes an end date for that. And it's important to have that end date so that possibly you can leverage that for a pay bump at the end of the day. For the internship for domestic students is that the expectation is to do 20 hours per week. So it can be part-time at 20 hours a week or full-time. I had 2 students this quarter that had full-time opportunities that were paid. And that comes up to the next point of paid or unpaid, is that there are unpaid internships in this day and age. But I mean, if you get the opportunity, definitely always look for the paid opportunities. For the internship course itself, it is a course that you do have to pay for. So just because you have secured an internship is to receive credit for that, you need to be enrolled, and we'll be going through the process or talking about the process there. As far as what the rate is it's whether it's the upper division undergraduate rate or the just regular graduate course rate. I've had students who've asked this, and that's where it's kind of important to understand, is that can an internship be an extra course? Is that what your program plan states, whether it's 45 credits at a graduate level or 39 credits, is that you can't necessarily exceed, or you can't take additional courses depending on what your funding option is. So it's kind of important to understand that if you want to do an internship, plan accordingly, talk to me, talk to anyone else as far as just getting an idea of when would be considered your internship quarter, or maybe you have an internship planned out. The important part is the employment dates themselves have to align with the start and end dates, meaning that, so like for the summer quarter here is that we started July 1st and we go to September 8th, is that the internship itself needs to run 10 weeks, preferably within those dates. Is that we can sometimes have some flexibility, but it's important that you have 10 weeks to get to 200 hours at least within that time frame. As far as eligibility, is that minimum 1 academic year or 3 consecutive quarters at full time, and that's 30 credit hours at the undergraduate level or 18 credits at the graduate level. The important part is the prerequisite is that you do need to have those credits plus a 3.25 or higher to be considered eligible for internships. You as a student need to make sure that you are able to secure the internship and obtain an employment letter. I know occasionally I get questions about this, is that hopefully you guys are checking the Thursday Bite. Is in the Thursday Bite, there's usually internship opportunities that are supplied to the school. So these are opportunities that whether companies or some of our connections advertise to us, and we want to make sure we get that out to you. The last part is kind of academic authorization. And that's what we'll be talking about as far as how do we get you enrolled if you meet the 3.25 and you also have the credits necessary. Students who are ineligible for internship is that, I mean, basically if you're working at Microsoft and you want to try to use your job as an internship, it won't work. That's part of the approval process. If you're working even at a mom and pop's tech shop, we can't use that for an internship. So just keeping in mind is that the idea of the internship is for those individuals who need that work experience to get a foot in the market. You already have that. It's probably best to expand your skills through the electives. Other things that potentially make you ineligible is if you've already taken 2 elective courses at the graduate level, or 2 elective courses at the undergraduate level. And that's upper division at the undergraduate level. Also, if you've taken the internship and you were unsuccessful the first time, is that you can't repeat the internship. And then lastly, we have a number of students that are using VA benefits. And for veteran students, it's important to realize that this course itself, as far as internship, can't be repeated as one of your elective courses, meaning that if you've taken an internship for 3 months, is that you can't continue that as credit for the additional 3 months to go a 6-month internship. So as far as the application steps is, like, if you find an internship and you or are interested, like I said, meet with me, talk about just trying to see what your GPA is, how many credits you have under your belt, so that we can plan accordingly. Some students start applying immediately, depending on where you are in your program, is that you'll have your opportunity. Once you get that opportunity, is if you get an employment letter or basically an offer letter, is share that with me, so that I can verify it, make sure that it's eligible, and that's where I forward it onto the internship coordinator. The internship coordinator will verify everything, and once I get the thumbs up there, is that then we can get the class built and we can get you registered for the internship. The internship application process, there's a little caveat here, is that it's so important that you make sure that you have a site supervisor that is willing and able to complete the paperwork. Is that in the internship process, is that you're not just a lone wolf and there's no accountability, is that the internship coordinator will be periodically checking in on you. So it's important that you make sure that you have somebody that's going to be a manager or supervisor that's reliable and can complete the paperwork in a timely fashion, meaning that if you don't get the paperwork in, you don't pass the internship. So key things for the internship offer letter: make sure that you have the company name, location, contact, and website. Position, you really want to make sure that it has internship in the title, as well as a brief description of the roles and responsibilities. List the duration of employment, basically what are the expectations as far as the work and end date. Expected hours, as far as how long are you expected to work on a weekly basis or daily basis. Whether it's the compensation, any legal disclosures, is that some places have non-disclosures where you can't talk about certain parts, and that's where we have to get a little more involved, as far as making sure all the documentation is clear for your non-disclosure. I'm not sure about the non-competes right now. That's kind of a gray area legally, where it could change in the next couple of months. Right now there are non-competes, but that could change. And then again, lastly, supervisor information, making sure that they have their name, telephone, email, just who's going to be basically mentoring you and supporting you to be successful in this internship. And that's what I got.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Now, Jonathan will talk about his internship experience. Hi, Jonathan. Can you share your screen when talking about your internship experience? Okay, we can see your screen now.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I just kind of started an internship. I wasn't kind of put together quite as meticulously as Rich laid out, but yeah, so I've been helping out with OpenStack. So this is a open source project, and it is a non-paid internship. So I'm just kind of contributing to the code. OpenStack is like a cloud hosting platform or ecosystem that you can do bare metal, virtual machines, and containers. I've only been there for about a month, so I don't know a ton of detail about everything you can do with it, but it is used kind of all over the world. A lot, and then like telecom companies is a big user of the product. I got involved with the product through this organization called Open Infra, and they host the code. They're sort of like the public organization behind OpenStack. And they, yeah, I met the upstream developer advocate, and kind of one of she was able to match me with some mentors. So the service that I'm working on is called Manila. It's a shared file system that's used within the within OpenStack. Yeah, so this is I mean, yeah, so it's like it's a file system. It's a WSGI server, and so yeah, it takes HTTP requests from the OpenStack SDK CLI. And so I kind of like work in, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but like validating HTTP requests essentially. So to do that, I work with JSON schemas to validate query bodies, and then also the response bodies. This is to like enforce the API endpoints are consistent across it, and then also for like just setting up for a future project where they're going to like generate their CLI from the JSON schemas. So kind of what I do is work on schemas, and then because the way it's accepting the request differently, so I have to like refactor the tests, and I do code reviews, and then I have a weekly meeting with the mentors that are working with me on this. And this is sort of like it's done in Garrett, and so it's kind of like this is what it looks like. You get like you know, suggestions, and then you do the suggestions, and then hopefully your code passes. So that's it. I'll stop sharing.
Thanks, Jonathan. And now Dr. Sam Chung will showcase a successful Capstone project.
Okay, hello everybody. So thank you for coming
Sam.
to this. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes. Okay, I will share the screen first. Yes. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just I'll move this one to you. Okay, thank you. So when you have a capstone or even internships, why are you doing that? So what is the benefit for our student? First, your benefit is what? You are preparing for your job interview or any kind of your next plan. So you are looking for a job, or you sometimes some students they want to have their own startup company. So you have evidence. If you come to the c4cyi.cityU.edu, then you can see the STC. Okay, the one is a center, the other one is a school. Then if you come to the event, so we have applied research symposium. End of a quarter, week 10, always we have a symposium. So let me check spring. what happened here? So this is your permanent record. If you do not have any outside publication, student come, then they present this one as the advice here. Also, some volunteer student, they are helping this one as a session chair. You can see the Jonathan and Kina here. Also, now you can see the student. Okay, now you can see also, you can find the topics what other student did. I recommend you don't have to start from scratch. If somebody did a great, then you can get it. Also, now you can see that how much diligently our students, they are embracing AIs in their capstone. Today, I want to introduce two students. Okay, this gentleman, Singo Kais, he did a case study of a large language model empowered internship placement system. Also, you can see the Yared. He did a crypto profit. It looks like both of them, they are developing mobile app, building a cryptocurrency portfolio app with integrated market predictive models. Also, they have the advice. I was advisor of the single guys, and the other one also I help them, but I'm not the main advisor. So those students, okay, what outcome also? Yes, all over here student, they have the link here, that's their outcome. Two of the student, also they decide to submit their paper to the conference. This conference will be held in Baltimore, November 2024. If you want to present yours at the conference, you have to submit the paper. So in this case, we already submitted them, and then it's going to the blind review. Three outside people, we don't know who did, they are reviewing this one. Looks like you can see their name here, right? So here's, this is single Kai. Single Kai's applied large language model, especially retrieval augmented generator, the most recent technologies. Then he applied, he developed that one. And then cryptocurrency, he used a lot of machine learning models to predict the cryptocurrency price, yes. So here, what does it mean? If you look at this one, review feedback, just this week, I got, if you submit the paper, they have a blind review. This empty box, we have to respond to their comment by August 15th, I think. What I wanted to share with you, now we got some very good review record, usually above 3.0 is the good, means this paper accepted conditionally. Some of them you can see that, yes. Some of them sometimes low score one blind reviewer giving that, but generally okay. So if we have above 3.0, to me this is kind of the very good candidate to be promoted to journal paper if they reviewed the second reviews. So this is one example, and also go back. Then second one also I got it. Two paper. There's several authors. First author is a student. Second, third, a couple of faculty involved here. Also, this got a feedback. Also, you can see the score here. It means is accepted by this conference. Means those two students, they got a ticket to go to the conference. Yes, I know some. So also, why this is important to them. When you have a job interview, you don't have to tell. It looks like sometimes you have an industry certification, right? You don't have to brag about yourself. They look at your industry certification. They know, oh, you somebody outside a third party company. Okay, you got the certification. Same thing. If you have this kind of a publication by using your capstone, then outside of people, they are giving credit to you. Oh, I think I can see some value from yours. Why outside of people, reviewed yours, then they gave it some kind of this kind of acceptance. Also, student, because of this kind of a serious writing and presentation through the capstone, student has a very good story. All of a job interview is what? Storytelling. You are sharing your story with your interviewer. Usually this one, you can explain to yours very solidly. Also, what is the benefit of our school? So you can see it outside the crawler, especially from US World News, they are crawling in cyberspace. They are collecting the data. Then also they are giving rank to our university programs. This is a win-win solution. I know one of the drawbacks is what usually students come, they have to pay the registration and travel. But based upon my experience, many students, they took this one as their vacation time. Also, most of the students who published here, usually they are well placed after graduation. But how they could publish a paper, not only presenting at this our applied research symposium, they have to start earlier. Means now I'm telling you, if you are interested in Capstone, please do not worry about what problem you want to solve. Looks like a driving school. You don't know where you have to go, but at least you know how to drive. Then when times come, you can go. Simply speaking, nowadays a lot of example is a mobile app using full stack technology plus mobile machine learning API and large language API. You have to usually you integrate it together. Or if you have this system, then also you are using the security tool, or you want to put into the data science approach, AI approach. So my experience with a student who's earned those skills, okay, and then also studied what somebody did, especially you can see how our classmates, your alums did, and then they started earlier, then this kind of a publication is simply a student want or you can go. No, usually advise, recommended that. I think yours can go to the conference, then you can survive. So that was the kind of a story. I'm so proud to share that this time also again, two students, they got a good news this week and last week. So all of us students here, please aim high, then have a great internship and capstone opportunity. So through this one, then you can prepare for your future plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. Finally, we will have a Q&A session. Please feel free to ask any question to our speakers. Anyone have any question?
I will ask Jonathan. Jonathan, you are taking internship, but there is an unpaid. Also, you are not taking internship course credit. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm just doing it on my own. I'm still doing like the 20 hours a week type thing. But,
right. That's the example. Internship always does not mean you have to get an offer letter, then you have to take an internship course. So if you have a non-paid, also volunteer work style, still you can have an internship record in your resume. Also, this one I strongly encourage it. That's why we invited Jonathan to share his experience. Mhm.
Anyone have any question? Oh, let me have one question. Oh, Harrison. Okay, go ahead, Harrison.
I'm just wondering, can you use your own project as a capstone project? Let's just say that I haven't participated in the capstone quarter, but I have some personal project going on, or I can just work towards one, like, just ahead of the quarter.
Yes, yes, any
Does that work?
project any project you can do it. But in the capstone, there are two challenges. First one, who try to develop the similar projects means we call related work. That's why it's very important. You are not the first person in this world. Always you can find who try to solve the same problem or a similar problem that you are trying to solve. That's the first challenge. That's a lot of article you have to find them. And then the other challenge is what? After you finish this one, the question is, so what? Evaluation. That's our capstone course is the main purpose is not to develop the project, finish a project. You want to learn how to do project from the scratch or from the beginning to the end. So you will learn those things. Then at least you can show the one demo system or evidence. Then you can pass this one. Yes, you can do any project, but select also very good project that somebody can outside the community can see the benefit from your project. Michael, do you want to add something?
No, I think you defined that very well. It's again trying to find the gap between something that you're interested in and what somebody else has done. And if you can show that and you can develop on that, then you usually get an acceptance by the instructor to go forward with it. So it depends on what it is your project is, and you'd have to talk to your instructor at that point to see if that's acceptable for that particular instructor.
I saw Richard and then maybe have question. Can Richard go first?
Sure. I was going to throw out there, Sam, is your research group, depending on what the subject is promoting the research group as well as the clubs. Those can also help as far as establishing some regards of your capstone project as far as pre-planning. I mean, as far as getting a jump start, working with peers and mentors, I mean, that's with any capstone project, being able to get started early it's sometimes it's getting collaboration, getting other people's ideas. And I mean, Sam, here's your opportunity to talk about your tech club or your
yes
research group on Fridays.
Yeah, very good question. Richie asked us student club and research group. Okay, first let me explain difference between student club and research group. Club is led by student. That's why student you can come. Then you have at least I recommend 3 meetings per quarter. Then you can have an invited talk or you can have a workshop, whatever they want. That's student driven. That's the student club. Also, that is the faculty member we involved as an advisor, but our role is a continuity. Sometimes a very good leader, sometimes not good, then disappear. So we want to keep it. Research group is hosted by faculty. Because of that, I'm encouraging each faculty to have their own research group and then keep working on their scholarship. So my research group, every Friday, 4 to 5, usually 9 times per quarter. Why? Week 1 to the week 9, so I have a research group meeting 4 to 5. And then week 10, everybody, I'm encouraging them to come to the STC Applied Research Symposium. How you can join my research group, just to send the email. If you go to our website, you can see the research group. Then my research group is currently active, so send the email. Then in order to join this research group, what do I have to do? Nothing, just come. Sometimes they have their own topic, but this quarter, our research group decided to learn retrieval augmented generation, the most demanding AI technique. So we are practicing this one. And then also you join there, then just you want to know what this research group is doing, please join, then you can leave. Next time you don't have to come back. But if you wanted to keep this one, I'm asking at least 5 times attend this one. And then also, this age looks like potlucks. You have to share what you learned. So we are doing this one. Yes. Okay, thank you. I sort of,
I think
Jan,
Jan,
yeah.
Jan have any
Yeah,
question?
Dr. Chung just answered my question. I was going to ask, how do we get in on the research groups?
Yep. Simply send the email. Then I
Okay.
will invite our meeting. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Anyone have any other question?
I think that there is no more question. Let's have a closing as the dean. Today's speak, Michael and then Sima and Richie and Jonathan. I really appreciate that. Then also students who attend here, please take advantage. Please start your capstone tomorrow. And then internship, if you don't know, send the email to Jonathan. Hey, can I join this one or any nonprofit organization? They are desperately looking for volunteer. Please have a good record in open source community or volunteer. That will be great experience for you. Sima, I saw you. Any question or comment?
Yes, thank you, Sam. I just want to mention for F1 students, we request that you do not get involved with any paid or unpaid or voluntary internship without any permission. You're not supposed to work outside the campus, and talk with your advisor. We're here to help you, and so you can accomplish the internship as the best as you can.
Hey, great. Okay, Kina, it's the time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you on our speaker today and our student. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.